What Conorado sa Wakweko, Devery Jacobs, Yajats, Tanugahnawaga Dewagenu. Hey everybody, my name is Devery Jacobs and I'm from Gahnawage Mohawk territory. I am an actor and filmmaker from Reservation Dogs and I'm a proud queer Mohawk woman. Reservation Dogs is about 4 Indigenous kids from rural Oklahoma who are mourning the loss of the 5th member of their group and their best friend Daniel, who died 1 year earlier. But it's first and foremost a comedy, and they're wanting nothing more but to getting out of their small town and running away to the faraway land of California and committing petty crimes while they do it. I think that Reservation Dogs is important towards furthering the conversation about inclusivity and representation around Indigenous people, because we aren't trying to do that in the series, because it's a comedy, because it shows us as full-fledged humans who make mistakes and like hang out eating chips watching bad movies. Like, we're people who are alive and thriving and having the experiences that we are today, and it's all grounded through the experience of Sterling Harjo, who is one of the co-creators and the showrunner of the series, who is Muskogee Creek and Seminole, and he grew up in Oklahoma, and it's loosely based around his life.
If my math's correct, then we could be in California as soon as 2 months.
For real? That soon?
Yes, that soon.
I just thought it would take longer.
Reservation Dogs was the first project where I had worked with an all-Indigenous team of writers, directors, some producers, and many key creatives in the crew. Like, I had never looked around on set before and had seen so many Indigenous folks surrounding me. And when we were recording scenes, and especially more vulnerable scenes like the one in episode 107, which follows my character, Olora Dannon, and her experiences, I very much felt like I was surrounded by community. And everybody has had similar experiences one way or another. We each have that grounded sense of what it means to be Ngwehue, to be Indigenous, and being able to work in a space like that changed everything. And I think that's what makes the show resonate so much.
Losing friends like that, though. I mean, there's before they died and after. Ripples in between.
Filming episode 7 of Reservation Dogs, California Dreaming, it was a special moment in my personal life and as well as my career, dealing with the issues of suicide, which has plagued nearly every Indigenous family across North America. It was a project where I looked around and it felt like a moment for us to collectively heal. This wasn't just a storyline that we were exploring. We weren't trying to touch on issues or brush past them, but it's real to all of us, to everybody who has been a part of Reservation Dogs, whether in front or behind the camera, has been affected by suicide in some way from each of their communities. I think that it is hugely important that we talk about suicide in Indigenous communities. And I read a statistic recently from the Trevor Project, which I, being a queer person as well as a Mohawk person, felt really affected by this. It was saying how of all LGBTQ youth of color, that Indigenous youth are the ones that die by suicide at the highest rates. If you look at statistics from many Indigenous communities across Turtle Island, you'll find that suicide rates are many times higher than the national average in Canada and the US. And that is something that isn't nearly talked about enough.
Bitch, I'm not scared of you.
Go get.
We're selling meat pies.
Go over there and sell meat pies then.
It's like so nice to see so many people be like, oh my God, I love Willie Jack, or I see myself in that character, or this person's just like my cousin. It's so rewarding and empowering, and that's exactly why we're making a show like this, is because this is what we wanted to see growing up and what we greatly could have benefited from. And had I had a show like Reservation Dogs growing up in my community, it would have reinforced the idea that I can do this, that Indigenous voices are important and valid and worthy of being shared on a global stage. I am currently working in the writer's room of Reservation Dogs Season 2, which I am fortunately able to be a part of behind the camera this season, and will also be going to camera for Season 2 sometime in 2022. So I'm so excited to share all of the shenanigans that the Res Dogs are going to be up to next season, but I'm sworn to secrecy. I've definitely felt a lot of intimidation and fear, especially being open about my queerness, not because of backlash necessarily, but because I didn't really know anyone like myself growing up. I wasn't able to turn to see anybody like me who is queer and Mohawk and femme as I grew up. And so I think for me, in choosing to be open about my life and who I am, stems from the pride in that, but also as a means to show girls on the res who are growing up and to show that there is a place and that queerness doesn't look one way. And it's my hope that being open about who I am and living truthfully as myself, that it could encourage other queer Indigenous kids on the res, off the res, wherever they've grown up to be their whole selves as well. I hope in the next 10 to 20 years that this is just the beginning. I want to see so many different stories. I want to see comedies. I want to see two-spirit rom-coms. Even though you might have an Indigenous creator, it doesn't mean that their work will speak for all Indigenous people. And so for people to look at Reservation Dogs and to expect that of us is a lot of responsibility that I think we're all willing to carry, but are hoping to divvy up and to share this opportunity with many people. And it's my hope that in 10 to 20 years, I can look around and see a whole industry of Indigenous creatives like out there and killing it.